It's gotta be the greatest detective story of our time, of the digital age. We're talking about a ghost in the code who dropped a 9-page document, basically lit the fuse on a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and then poof, vanished. So let's get right into it. Let's dive into the incredible mystery of Satoshi Nakamoto. And this is where it all kicks off. Not with some big, flashy announcement, but with something more like a whisper. This single, kind of cryptic message was literally baked into the very first block of Bitcoin, the Genesis block. It's a headline from a newspaper, so it's a timestamp, sure, but it's also this quiet, almost defiant statement about why this was all happening.
So who did it, right? That's the billion-dollar question. Well, actually, trillion-dollar question. Who is this person, or maybe this group of people, who wrote the playbook, built a thing, and then just disappeared without a trace? Okay, so to really get inside the head of the creator, you have to look at the world they were living in. Bitcoin didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was forged, really, in the fire of that massive 2008 global financial crisis. It was a direct answer to a system that, let's be honest, a lot of people felt had completely and utterly failed them.
Now, for decades, the smartest people in computer science were stuck on this one huge problem, the double spend problem. Think about it like this. A digital file, like an MP3 or a photo, can be copied perfectly, right? An infinite number of times. So what's to stop someone from doing the same thing with a digital dollar? Just copy, paste, spend, copy, paste, spend. Before Satoshi came along, the only answer, the only one, was to have a middleman, like a bank, to watch over everything and make sure nobody cheated. And here's what's so incredible. Satoshi didn't really invent any brand new technology from scratch. Nope, the real genius here was in how they put it all together. It's like they took 4 existing ingredients, cryptography, peer-to-peer networks, proof of work, and this idea of a shared ledger, and combined them into this perfect recipe, an elegant solution that finally solved that double spend problem without needing a bank.
I mean, this was it. This was the holy grail for digital money. For the first time ever, someone had figured out how to make a digital thing that couldn't just be copied. That means you could have digital scarcity, which makes something valuable. Kind of like digital gold. This was a massive, monumental shift in how we even think about money, about who owns what, and who we trust.
So, naturally, a mystery this big is going to attract a ton of internet sleuths and journalists. And believe me, the search for Satoshi has been intense. It's led us to a handful of really brilliant people. So come on, let's play detective for a minute and take a look at the usual suspects. All right, first up, we have Hal Finney, a total legend in cryptography, and get this, the very first person to ever receive a Bitcoin transaction from Satoshi themselves. The timing fits, the skills fit, but Finney always denied it, and, his writing style just feels different from Satoshi's. Then you've got Nick Szabo. This guy designed something called BitGold years before Bitcoin even existed. His technical writing, it's almost a dead ringer for Satoshi's. But again, he's denied it consistently for years. And of course, there's Dorian Nakamoto, a physicist who had the craziest day when Newsweek basically put his face on their cover and said, "This is the guy." He furiously denied it, said he'd never even heard of Bitcoin. And finally, there's Craig Wright, an Australian computer scientist who actually claims he is Satoshi. The thing is, he's never provided that one piece of cryptographic proof, the smoking gun, that would settle it once and for all. So after you run down all these paths and they all lead to a dead end, you start to wonder, right? What if we've been asking the wrong question? What if we're looking for a who when we should be looking for a they? I mean, the level of expertise in the Bitcoin code is just staggering. You've got economics, next-level cryptography, complex network engineering. It's led a lot of people to believe that Satoshi Nakamoto was never one person, but a pseudonym for a whole team. But as we get lost in all these theories, this whodunit game, a much bigger, more important question starts to pop up. What if this endless hunt for who is just a distraction from the real story? Why? Why go to all this trouble to be so perfectly anonymous? Seriously, just think about that for a second. What if Satoshi's disappearance wasn't just some random personality quirk? What if it was actually a feature, not a bug? What if it was the most brilliant and deliberate part of the entire design? By disappearing, Satoshi did something amazing. They made it so Bitcoin has no head of the snake. There's no CEO to pressure, no leader to throw in jail, no single person to corrupt. It was the ultimate cypherpunk move, total privacy. It kept them safe from governments, for sure. But it also gave the project this mythological power, right? It made the idea so much bigger than any one person could ever be.
And that one act, just vanishing, it kicked off something the world had never really seen before, a truly leaderless global movement. And the ripple effects of that decision, we're still feeling them today. Okay, and this is where the story gets really mind-bending. It's estimated that in the very early days, Satoshi mined about 1 million Bitcoin. Now, that fortune today is worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $60 billion. And here's the kicker. Not one single coin from that stash has ever been touched. That silence, it tells us so much. Is it a sign of incredible principle, a deep commitment to not disrupting their own creation? Or is it something sadder, that the keys are lost forever, or maybe the creator is no longer around to use them? We don't know, but either way, that massive fortune just sits there, like a silent monument at the very heart of Bitcoin. And look, Satoshi's legacy, it has exploded far beyond just Bitcoin. That core idea, the blockchain, has fueled entire revolutions. We're talking decentralized finance, or DeFi, the whole world of digital art and NFTs, a brand new creator economy. All of these massive ideas can be traced right back to that one anonymous 9-page document. Which brings us really to the final point, the core message that's kind of hidden inside the mystery itself. This is the big takeaway from this whole incredible ghost story. It really boils down to a tale of two worlds. On one side, you've got the old way of doing things, right? A world full of gatekeepers, powerful CEOs, and central bosses who can change the rules whenever they feel like it. But on the other side, you have the world that Satoshi built, a world based on open, transparent rules, a protocol where the code is the law, and everyone can see it. And that, ultimately, might be Satoshi's most radical idea. In a world that is obsessed with founders, with influencers, with personal brands, they made the ultimate statement. They showed us that the idea can matter more than the person who had it, that the protocol can triumph over personality. You could even say their greatest gift to Bitcoin was disappearing. So, after all that, this whole amazing story leaves us with one last big question, maybe for you to think about. If we really respect what Satoshi built, does that mean we should finally respect their wish for privacy and just stop looking? Or is the truth just too important to stay hidden forever? In the end, maybe the mystery is the whole point.